emergency contact. We're going to help them create an emergency contact list. Okay. And that list, their job is to give us a call when the client dies so that we can start the claims process. It's a tremendous service, because a client will have the comfort level knowing that 30 years from now, after they've lost their policy 3 different times, right? How many of y'all been in the business long enough where the client calls you, say, hey, Chris, man, I know we talked 3 years ago. I cannot find that dadgum policy. Or if they're talking to Jake, I can't find that effing policy. Can you get me another copy of that, right? And so people lose policies. They're probably in some, fantasy land with all my socks that I've been missing all these years. Okay. All their policies are piled up with my socks. Anyway, the bottom line is people lose stuff. And we know that this will happen. And that's why there's all these billions of dollars. So what we're providing here is a way to help these clients get their policies paid. So why do I go into that? Because the intent in your heart when you're providing this service has to be pure, in my opinion. Emergency response system is a service. It's how we add value to our clients and how we are going to be rewarded because we add value. Okay. Now, if you start thinking this is a way to snake referrals, don't do it. No, don't do it. It's a value add service that we're providing our clients. Okay. So want to make sure that we baseline our thinking and our thought process from that perspective. Okay. Very important. The value of your intent is huge. So let's move on. By the way, I sent out the Dropbox link for this handbook, the Emergency Response System Handbook. As I've been talking to some of the leaders on your team, like Mr. Dukes, you have to have a process for everything, and your process has to be memorialized either in a video or in a handbook, something that's duplicatable. So this is the way that I've memorialized our ERS process. So it's something that exists that can be duplicated and implemented easily. So for all you builders out there, you got to turn everything into a process that can be duplicated. So that's just a note. Okay, so having explained that, now why do you want to do ERS? Well, not only can you provide value to the client, but it gives you an opportunity to get referrals to help other people, right? Now you can go down the road of the traditional referral process. Hey, Joe, did you enjoy this appointment? Great. You know that you have people that I don't know. So who do you think I should know so I can provide this fantastic service to all your friends and family? Okay, you can go down that road, and there's some great books on referral getting. And I know I'm being sarcastic. Okay, that's one of the most endearing parts about me that I've heard. Not. Anyway, referrals through ERS, those are free leads, baby. And you know what? It'll give you an opportunity to multiply your sales from one lead. As I mentioned, you know how difficult it is every week to obtain a client. Imagine getting free clients from that one lead. It's called acquisition cost. The acquisition cost of your client, and sorry to go into nerd MBA mode, but it costs money to acquire your first client. Where you can get client lifetime value is not only selling that client more product, but acquiring other clients through that client, right? So getting an ERS referral, it's free. Just applying a little bit of effort, you get free leads, number one. Number two, you know how hard it is to book an appointment when you got someone effing you, doing F-bombs all over the place. They don't even hardly remember their name, let alone that they sent in a lead, right? All these horror stories. You know how simple it is to call someone who's already been predisposed to taking your call because a friend of theirs texted them something to take your call. Dude, ERS referrals rock. My agents that are starting to really get into it, they're already 1 or 2 levels deep in ERS sales, are telling me, Alex, I know you said this, but I can't believe how easy it is to book appointments. I'm booking nearly every person I'm talking to into an appointment. And I say, well, yeah, that's how it is, right? Because I love it. I love it. So imagine everyone picks up your phone. They are looking for when they can book you in their calendar. It's a totally different world, man, when you're working referrals. The other thing about ERS is that when you text the client back, hey, just want you to know I took a friend of your sister, your brother, your pastor, and we took care of them. And man, they're just really excited. And you text back a selfie with them back to the client. Oh my gosh, man, that client, number one, they think more highly of you because you followed through a promise that you were going to contact all their contact people, their URS contacts, and that there's such a great juju going on. They start texting you, hey, I thought I've got some other people I think you should talk to. See, it creates this great juju, which also creates higher placement of persistency. Your persistency rates go through the roof because your client trusts you. They know that they've got a really great agent because you follow through on your promises. Okay. These referrals are more open to listening to how you can help them with all their financial products, life insurance, annuities, right? And look, the IRS referrals allow you to reach people that do not open marketing emails, marketing mails like direct mailers. These are people that are sitting out there that have a need. The only reason why they haven't done it is, number one, they don't want to go out to the internet because imagine typing in, have you typed in life insurance in Google? You're bombarded with all this stuff. You don't know who to trust, right? You don't want to go out there and, advertise to the world of the internet that you're looking, because all of a sudden you get inundated with all these ads. They're just kind of this silent demand out there. All they need is a phone call from you that was recommended by someone, right? And these are people that are not turning in the leads. This is a huge market of people that are not being reached out to. They don't return mail, or they don't surf the internet looking for life insurance, but they're out there. And this is your way to tap into them, right? So what I've done is create a step-by-step guide on the ERS program. So it starts out here, how to get the ERS names, okay? So I'm going to talk about the traditional way of getting the ERS names from the client, okay? And it's typically done via the ATM, right? So in the ATM, there is a slide that goes into, let me just fast forward to the slide. Okay, it's this slide here. And this should be in your ATM. It says currently there are over $1 billion in unclaimed life insurance money in America. Actually, it's over $7 billion. And this is what you do after you fill out the application. Then you flip over to your next slide and then go over with the client. Hey, currently over $1 billion of unclaimed life insurance in America. Do you know why that is? And they repeat back to you, well, I don't know. Well, and then you explain what I just explained to you at the beginning, right? They don't know that the client died. And the emergency response system is our way of making sure that your death claim will be paid immediately to your beneficiaries. Isn't that what you want? You want your beneficiaries to get your policy, right? The benefits of your policy, correct? You don't say beneficiary, you say, because you know the names of the beneficiaries. So make sure that Mary and your children, Sue, Bob, and Steve, get the benefits of the policy, right? They say, well, yeah, absolutely. Well, this is the way that we're able to do that. Now, this may not be a big deal, if you die, tomorrow, next week, next month, but, when you died 20 years from now, you've probably lost your policy 3 times. People forget that you have a policy and they have no clue what the name of the insurance company is, and that's why there's over $7.5 billion of unclaimed benefits. Now, you sure? You're going to say, oh, yeah, I want to make sure it's paid out. Okay, well, let me explain a simple process to you, okay? basically what I need, and this is to very similar to your children. Remember your children going into grade school, you had to fill out an emergency contact list? Yeah, I do. Well, this is basically how that works. What I need is I need 10 to 20 names of people that are local to you. Okay, and I'm paraphrasing all this. All this is in very much detail here, but I want you to understand the gist of what we're trying to do with them. I need 10 to 20 names of people that are in your area, the local area. And we really prefer people that aren't super close to you, because sometimes those people are so distraught that you died that sometimes they really don't have the presence of mind to notify me that you died, right? So we need to put 10 to 20 names together, people that are, close enough to you that they would know that you died. And then they would have presence of mind to give me a call. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to notify them of my contact information and the name of the insurance company. We're not going to disclose anything about your policy, but we're going to let them know that I'm your insurance man, and that, when you die, they will contact me so we can get the process going. Does that make sense? Oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so you got your phone. Go to your address book, and who would you put as the first person on your contact list? And then you start filling out. The emergency response system form that's in the appendix. This form right here, you're filling that out. And what you're doing is you're putting pen to paper, and you put your head down. You don't look up at all. Okay, you just put your head down. Okay, and how do you know them? And what's their phone number? Okay, great. And who's next? Who's next? And you just don't look up. You keep writing down name after name and their relationship to you, their phone number, and you go from 1 to 20. And people think, oh my gosh, are they going to give me 20? If you don't look up and give them a chance to not give you the next name, just keep asking, who's next, who's next, who's next. The most important part of this process is you being resolute at doing your job, because you believe in what you're trying to accomplish with this, because you believe that you want the client to get the benefits paid. You know what I'm saying? So don't think of it as a way to get referrals. Think of it as a way to get the client the benefits that they're signing up for, right? Have a little bit of that passion that this is a process that works. And by the way, let me tell you, the process has worked. When someone has died, we've been notified by someone on their ERS contact list, okay? So the way that you sell it is the way that will increase the number of names that they give you. Now, look, if they only give you 5, 10 names, then great. You're not good at this yet because you're just getting started. When you start getting good, you'll get 20 every time. But look, 5 and 10 is way more than getting 0 because you never implemented the process. So, you get 5 or 10. I'm doing a hallelujah breakdown, man. Praise the Lord, right? Okay, so I talked about step 2, getting the names, right? And here's a kind of the conversation that you get started, and so on. And I just kind of paraphrased it, right? I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because you have it right here. But, obviously with anything, make it your own, okay? Let me emphasize this part. My job is to get them my contact information, info on the insurance company. Yeah, I went through that. Okay. All right. Now, this is how you increase your opportunity to get in contact with people. Okay. So you want the client to put your contact information in their phone, right? Because you want them to pick it up. And what I would put, under company name, I would put somewhere life insurance agent, or somewhere so that when it pops up, they know who you are. It could even be after your name, life insurance, or something that alerts them that it's you and they should pick up your phone call. Okay. Then what you do is you do a selfie with the client. Presumably you're on an in-home appointment. So you do a selfie with the client. So you got that picture locked in your phone, and then you text that selfie to the client, right? And then what you do then is you tell the client, now, here's really important, Joe and Mary, that your contact list picks up my number, okay? And how we do that is we want you to text them this text. So let me text this to you. So you text them this text, and the easiest way to do this, gang, is to put it in text substitution. The what is it that called on your iPhone? I know iPhone. I don't know if the other
Text replacement.
Yeah, text replacement. So you do text. So mine is ERS1, and it puts in this exact text with my name in it. And the text is, my insurance agent, Alex, is going to call you on my behalf. And before you ask, yes, everything is okay. He will be calling from 937-554-2693. Please take his call for me. Okay. So you text that to the client. And so, Mr. Client, it's real important that you text this out to all these people on this list. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of this list and I'm going to text it to you as well. So you have a copy of this list that I put together. So you know all the people that you can text this out to you. And that'll make my job so much easier, because when they recognize my number, they'll take my call. And it's important because out of 20 names, maybe 15 might take my call. And out of 15, we probably will find 10 or 12 that will want to meet with me. Now, the 10 or 12, we might get 1 or 2 that will call me in 30 years from now. Okay, so the more numbers and the more names will increase your opportunity to get your benefits paid to your Mary, Sue, Bob, and Steve. Okay, see what I'm doing? I'm tying the motivation to their love of their family. I'm using the names to trigger what you've just done to getting the CRS done so they can get the benefits. So what you're doing is psychologically, you're holding the benefits hostage, right, to this process. So they're motivated by self-interest, right, to get the benefits paid to their family. Okay. Very important. It's a psychological anchor. It's called an anchor that you're placing with the client, so they are motivated to do what you need them to do in order to take care of their families. Does that make sense? So you got that done, right? Okay, so you've got your names, you got the whole process. The client made a commitment, right? And you want the client to send out the selfie with the text. That's the whole idea. So then when you call later, you'll be able to, and then close the client on when they can get it done. Just say, okay, now it's important that we get this done because I'm going to do it pretty quickly. Okay, so Joe and Mary, how soon do you think you can have this done? Do you think you can get it done by tonight? Like, close the client on get it done tonight, right? Give them that urgency, because you're waiting for them to do it. Okay, so this is the way to get the RS names. All right. Now, when you hear Brian Rojas and all the top agents that teach ERS, they're going to teach you this traditional way of doing it. I have no problem at all with doing that. But in our team, what we've done is we've enhanced the process. And I'm big on taking down barriers. I'm big on path of least resistance. How can we make it easier for agents to get the names, right? And so here's what we've done to modify. So this is the modification to the process that we've interjected. Okay, now maybe you're already doing this and you're comfortable with doing it after the application is done. What we've decided to do is teach an alternative way. So the first modification that we're doing is that we're going to do the ERS after you complete the beneficiary section of the application. In other words, you're making the ERS part of the application process. So there's not this big thing. You're not making this a big deal like after the application. And then you kind of like, oh, okay, you flip the slide over and you say, all right, the next thing we got to do, you're making this big deal when it really isn't. And the biggest deal is in your own head. Okay, you're making this a big deal in your head. That's why a lot of you are afraid to implement this. Because number one, in your mind, you're thinking you're extending the appointment, from an hour and a half to 3. You're thinking in your head 3 hours. You think it's going to take a long time, and this is this involved process. So why a lot of you won't do it, because you're extending the appointment. You're going to think the client's going to cancel while you're doing this, right? Here's the easiest way to do it: is make it part of the application process, just like you're going to the next section of the app. So after you get the beneficiary, okay, now contingent beneficiary, you got, okay, so Sue, your daughter, Steve and Bob, your daughter and son. Okay, cool. And 33%, 33. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, great. All right. So the next part of our application, we need to do the emergency contact list. The insurance carriers really like us to help you get this benefits paid to your beneficiary. Let's explain real quickly what that is. There are $7.5 billion of unpaid life insurance claims. And do you know why that is? Oh, I don't know. Well, because the insurance carriers don't know that you died. Okay. They don't know that you died. And, let's say 30 years from now, when you die, you've lost your policy. No one knows you even have a policy. And that's why these are unpaid. So what they require us to do now is they require us to fill out an emergency contact list. Basically what that is just an emergency contact list of 20 local people that that would notify us that you died. And what my job is to reach out to them, and I'm going to notify them of my name and number, so I know that they'll call me and they'll call the insurance carrier that you died, so we can make sure that the benefits are paid to your family. And that's what you really want, right? You want to make sure that, Mary, Sue, Bob, and Steve get the benefits. Is that correct? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So you got your phone, go to your address book. So who would be the first person you put? And you do it as part of the application, right? So you make it part of the application that say, okay, now I'm going to go over what I'm going to do here with them, but let's go ahead and get this application complete, the rest of the application completed. So you got the names done, fill out the rest of the application. At the end of the application, then you tell them, okay, now, as I mentioned, I'm going to explain to you what we're going to do with this list. I need to let them know, okay, that who I am. I need to deliver the information. The hardest part with doing this, Joe and Mary, is that getting them to pick up the phone when I call, because, my number is a number that they don't recognize, right? I mean, I'm sure you don't pick up numbers that you don't recognize on your phone, right? Like, you barely picked up my number. I called you 20 times. And the first time you told me to F off, so my name's Jake Joseph. Just kidding. Anyway. So you explain to the client what you said before. Okay, now what we're going to do is where I'm going to text them. I need for you to text them this text, and you go through that whole thing. But now you give them an option. It's like, now look, you're busy. You're way busy. This is the last thing you probably want to do, spend a half hour texting out 20 texts to your, with our selfie picture of us and this text notifying them about me and so on, right? You're pretty busy, aren't you? Remember, you always ask questions to lock in the next step. Questions keep you moving forward. So they say, oh, yeah, I'm pretty busy. Well, can I suggest something that will take all that off your shoulders? Yeah. What do you mean? Well, why don't I do this? Is it okay if I text that out to you and each person on your contact list, right? Because I don't know if you've ever been on a group text, but when I text this out, like it's coming from you to you and your friend, because you're probably in their address book, your picture and your name is going to pop up in the group text. Obviously, my number is going to be the unfamiliar number, but when they read the text, they're going to see that it's coming from you. So they're not going to assume anything different. It still will get the job done because, once they know that my number is the one that's not familiar on the text, then they know they should pick up my number. And that takes all the burden off you. You don't have to do anything. I will do it for you. You're going to get every text, so you know that I'm good for my word, that I am going to reach out to all of them. So I'm going to keep you informed, and you don't have to worry about it at all. Does that sound good to you? Would that ease your mind? Right? Boom. You're on your way. Okay. So this is the two modifications that have made a huge difference. Number one, it's made it easier for our people, especially our brand new people, to get ERS names. And like I said, man, they're getting 3, 5, 7. They're not good at it yet. They'll get 20 once they get good at it. but 3, 5, or 7 is more than what they had before, right? Can you imagine if every single one of you got that many names? Now, look, let me just talk quickly about, so let's say you made 5 sales, and out of 5 sales, you had the gumption to get 3 of those people to give you URS names. And those 3 people gave you 5 names each because you're not good at it. That equals 15 names, okay? And in the rest of this document, we teach how to call them and what to do with them. I don't have enough time to go over that, but I'm going to give you an idea of what we're talking about here that will be huge for you, all right? So you got 15 names that from the ERSs, okay? So out of 15 names, you'd give them a call, which most of them will pick up, and you'll book a majority of them into an appointment. Do you think maybe out of 15, by the way, part of this is asking the client, hey, by the way, if your friends ask me to help them with life insurance, annuities, Medicare, disability, hospital indemnity, see, this is your way to start subtly, subconsciously telling them the other things that we do. You're planting seeds in the client you just served by telling them all this stuff. Is it okay if I help them out? And they're going to say, oh, yeah, sure. Boom. You got their permission. It's important to get their permission. Okay. So out of 15 names, do you think maybe you might make 2 sales? Maybe. Out of all the products that we have, do you think we can maybe get 2 sales? And you know what? Do you think maybe even some of those folks, when you say, by the way, has any agent done this for you and your insurance policies? No, they haven't. Really? Well, why don't you pull out your policies so I know which policies you have? And let's do an emergency response system for you, because I did it for your friend Mary. Why don't I do it for you? You haven't sold them a thing yet. Guess what? You walked away with, 10, 20 names, right? But out of those 50, you've made 2 sales. Out of those 2 sales, let's say you get 5 names each. That's 10 more names that you got. Now that 10, let's say you make 1 sale. You start getting good at this. That 1 turned into 20 names. Out of 20 names, you maybe might sell 3 policies. Out of those 3 policies, let's say you get 30 names. Out of 30 names, do you think you can make 5 sales? Out of those 5 sales, that's 50 names. And you've only gone down 6 deep in referrals? Do you know how much money that is? Do you know how much opportunity that is? Especially with a quality client. So here's what happens when you get a quality client that potentially has annuity money. Those quality clients hang around people that are potential quality clients. And those quality clients also have annuities. They also have Medicare needs. They also have all these other things. You're going to be literally drowning in ERS referral names, right, that you did not have before. So can you imagine your lead investment every week is $700, and then the next week it's 500, and the next week it's 300 because you're swimming in all these ERS. Literally, you're going to have to hire agents to help you run these free leads. And then your phone call approach is going to be more like, hey, I just want you to know that Joe and Mary recommend I give you a call. You're part of the emergency contact list. Listen, my job is to make sure that, I tell you who to contact when they die. So, they're going to know that you will know that they passed away and blah, blah, blah. You tell them what their job is. You haven't even met with them. Hey, by the way, listen, they mentioned that it might be okay that I could help you with some other things. I don't know if anyone's ever done an emergency contact list for you or anyone's helped you with life insurance. Let me ask you a question. Has anyone ever come over and did a life insurance review with you lately? Then you start booking appointments where people have an interest, right? But you might have 100, 200 ERS names that you can't get to. Guess what? Now you're going to have the money to hire an admin person to be able to go out there and help you book these appointments with people that are interested in product. You see how kind of this starts snowballing in a way that will just really keep you busy, reduce your acquisition cost, increase your client lifetime value, right? And increase overall your profitability in a huge way. So again, the rest of the document, like I said, that you can download on the Dropbox link, goes over how to call them, how to sit down with them. It doesn't have to be a long call. And by the way, you're not going to close 100% of the people you sit down with. Sometimes it's just giving them your information and planting a seed with them. But trust me, because you did this for their friend, if they're thinking about life insurance, hey, where's that card? They're going to give Mary a call. Hey, Mary, you know that nice insurance man that came by? Yeah. Can you give me his name? So you planted another seed. So you may not sell, let's say you sell half of them that you sit down with. That's half you didn't have before, plus you planted seeds with the other one. So look, just start doing it. Just start getting the names. Worry about how to book the appointment later. Just start implementing. It's something you could do right now.